Hey everyone, Piggy here. Hope y'all having a great week. So I came across this gem from everyone's favorite feminist, Anita Sarkeesian. For those of you who have the pleasure of not knowing who this person is, Anita is the founder of Feminist Frequency, a pop culture and feminism site and YouTube channel. She's most known for her series, Tropes vs. Women in Video Games, which many other YouTubers before me have covered in the past, so I will not get too much into it. To put it simply though, it's a terrible, poorly made show about how much of a gamer Anita isn't. I mean, I can't believe she crowdfunded this back in 2012 and made, holy shnikes, $150,000. And how many episodes were made? 20? Seriously? That's it? That's right. In 6 years, she made 20 videos. 20. She made $150,000 funding. I don't know about you, but I demand my money back if I contributed to this, because you definitely did not get your money's worth. So let's get back on track, before I get some sort of brain cancer from talking about tropes versus women. So, what's the topic of today's video? It's a privilege party, and most of you are not invited. I can already feel the tumor growing, but let's get into it anyway.
What do privilege and climate change have in common?
Nothing. One's a figment of people's imagination, the other is a weather phenomenon that takes place naturally over time. But let's hear it, Anita.
Well, they both exist, even if you think they don't.
No, privilege doesn't exist. Well, wait. I mean, it does, but not in the way feminism and social justice warriors would like to have you believe, that just because you have white skin tone, you immediately get things better in life. Because if white privilege was a thing, I'm really waiting to see where my privilege gets me, because I'm barely squeaking by, and I would really like it to kick in already.
As far as some people are concerned, privilege should be lumped with Bigfoot and UFOs as something a few folks are convinced exist, but can't show any compelling evidence to prove it. Well, I'm here to tell you that it's very real.
Does that mean you're gonna finally prove it? Oh my god, call the media. This discovery will change everything! Are you just... Or are you just gonna keep saying it exists with no proof, evidence, or fact-checking?
So what is privilege? In simple terms, privilege theory argues that each individual is embedded in a matrix of categories and contexts.
Here is the actual definition of privilege: a special right, advantage, or immunity granted or available only to a particular person or group of people. There is not a theory in privilege. Privilege is privilege, plain and simple, and anybody can have privilege. Black, white, Hispanic, Asian. It also depends on where you live.
Great. Okay, so to help illustrate the concept of privilege...
This person has a wonderful golden mane. I commend you. See, it's not harassment or hate speech. I said something nice.
Let's imagine we're creating a character in a video game. Now, ours is an open-world game that's designed to be very realistic and models real-life situations and challenges, school, work, relationships, and so on. It's a meticulously crafted, expansive recreation of...
No, we don't have a budget for that.
Anita, where did all the money you guys made in donations go? Instead of criticizing other people's games, why didn't you use your money and resources to make a game that adheres to what you think it should be? Oh, I know, because if you make a game and make the focus on making sure nobody's offended, then nobody would buy it because it'd be a boring game. You can't please everybody, Anita. To summarize the rest of this video, is basically Frequency attempting a comedic satire by saying white people, especially men, have it easier, but using a 8-bit game as kind of like a reference. It almost looks like it's a child's game video, like something you'd see in like a first grade class almost. But this isn't anything really new. They haven't brought anything new to the table. It's all stuff that social justice warriors and feminists have been bringing up for years with no grounded proof or evidence, no studies, no citations, nothing like that. And that is why I do not like social justice warriors. It's all accusations with no facts to back it up.
Oh, it looks like race is up next. Obviously, white is going to be the easiest option here, right?
Yep. Choose anything else on the spectrum and you're going to be subject to some form of racism, which could manifest in countless ways. Good luck graduating from a decent school, finding a decent job, or qualifying for a lone hypothetical player character.
Okay, now you're just ripping off South Park. Seriously. Like, this is just sad.
It's nonsense like heteronormativity and cisnormativity that helps perpetuate the oppression of queer and trans folks. You see, our culture treats heterosexuality as the normal setting and views other sexualities as deviations from that.
Well, that's because it is a deviation, or is abnormal. Heterosexual is considered the normal, but that's not saying homosexuality, pansexuality, or whatever sexuality you are is bad. It's just not the norm. It's two different concepts. In fact, in today's day and age, homosexuality is more acceptable now than it's ever been in past generations.
Similarly, under cisnormativity, so being cisgendered, which means having a gender identity that meshes with the gender you were assigned at birth.
Okay, you are not assigned a gender at birth. It's literally just the luck of the draw. You're born either as a male or female with a 1 in 100,000 chance that you have an abnormal chromosome combination. Now, that's not hating on transgendered people by any means. You can change your gender later on to match what you feel on the inside, and more power to you if you feel you have to. But sorry, you can't change the circumstances of your birth. That's just something everybody, no matter what, has to deal with. And again, you can change it later on in life. I don't understand this thing or concept that you have to change how you were born to feel satisfied with who you are now.
And of course, white and male are wrongly viewed as the default settings on race and gender.
Fun little fact for you, the default would actually be female, because all fetuses are created female. Or, to say they start with just the X gene, and then, after that, get the Y gene or the other X gene. So, technically there is a period when they're just a female embryo. It's all very complicated, but to summarize and just put it extremely simply, embryos start as female. Well, technically they start as a blank slate, but then become female first, and then basically get the final assignment of their gender afterwards. And yes, I realize I just used the word assigned in relation to gender, but it's a different context.
The example of a game to explore issues of privilege. But of course, none of us create our characters before playing real life.
Really? No shit, Sherlock. But again, just like always, I haven't seen or heard any real examples of or definitions for that matter of white privilege in this video. The closest was this.
Kevin, tremendous obstacles and hardships can occur in anyone's life. But there's a clear and important distinction. Any hardships an able-bodied, cisgender, straight white man faces in our culture aren't specifically a result of them being able-bodied, cisgender, straight white, or male. Those are all privileged groups who don't have to deal with the discrimination that members of other groups have to deal with.
Even though that also does not have any clear-cut examples. Now, yes, I agree there is still racism and prejudice in the world, even to white people, though, and even men can be the subject of racism and prejudice. White men, black men, Asian men, any type of man, any color, any combination of anything can be discriminated against, be the subject of prejudice in some way, shape, or form in their lives. And that's just how it is.
Remember, just because you experience privilege in one area of your life doesn't mean that you do in others. You might be a straight white man, but remember the class setting? Surprise! If you're poor, some of the advantages you thought you had are no longer available to you.
If I'm poor, I don't have white privilege anymore. I'm really confused here. This whole video has just been the standard SJW talking points we've been hearing for years now. It's gotten really old and really annoying. There's nothing new being brought to the table here. And again, they haven't even fully explained what the previous talking points are, and no one really has set definitions or anything really. All I really hear from this video, and many others like it, is whites, especially men, have it easy and everyone else has it harder, so we should take pity on the others and give them special treatment.
A lot of us are resistant to recognizing our privilege. We might feel like we're being made to feel guilty because we belong to a privileged group. But saying stuff like, well, excuse me for being white, is really not a good look. These conversations are not about guilt, and feeling defensive about it doesn't help anyone.
Well, Anita, I'm gonna have to disagree with you. I'm pretty sure a lot of others, even within your own community, would too. It clearly is your side is trying to incite guilt into white individuals. Especially white men. Now, there is a lot in this video that I did not cover, and am not going to cover. But I don't want to be subjected to any more of this, and if you are a glutton for punishment or a masochist or whatever, go check out the video for yourself. It's on their YouTube channel, Feminist Frequency, and enjoy if that's your thing. Thank you for checking me out, though. I do not have a Patreon as of yet. I want to see how I do before making one. If I can get up to at least 1,000 views on this video, I may go ahead and start a Patreon after that. Anyway, again, thanks for viewing my video, and please do not go out and bully, harass, incite violence, hate speech, yada yada yada. I'm not encouraging that, nor am I endorsing that. I'm just here to criticize and bring up conversation, because, you know, I'm an adult and I'm not going to go insulting people willy-nilly. I mean, yes, I have insulted Anita a bit in this video, but it's more for the sake of criticism. Anyway, have a good night and good week.